Quick like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. You know what's supposed to be healthy and innocent? Your wife taking yoga classes. Self-care, stress relief, physical fitness. It's encouraged behavior. Something you should support. When she says she'll be at yoga until 8 p.m. 3 nights a week, you trust that. You don't question it. You're glad she's doing something good for herself. Unless yoga class actually ends at 6:30. Unless those extra 90 minutes after class aren't spent stretching or meditating. Unless the yoga studio she's supposedly devoted to has no record of her ever being a member. My wife told me she'd be at yoga until 8 p.m. last Tuesday, like she did every Tuesday and Thursday evening for the past 7 months. I texted her at 7:45 asking if she wanted me to pick up dinner. She replied, "Still at yoga. Just finished. Grabbing smoothie with the girls. Home by 8:30. Except I was sitting in the yoga studio parking lot at 7:45. Had been there since 7 o'clock. Watched the 6 p.m. class let out at exactly 6:30. Watched every single person leave the building. Watched the lights turn off at 6:45. Watched the instructor lock the front door at 6:50. My wife wasn't at yoga. She'd never been at yoga. And wherever she actually was from 6:30 to 8 p.m. twice a week for 7 months, wasn't anywhere she told me about. My name is Lucas. I'm 39 years old, and I work as a quality control manager for a manufacturing company in Portland, Oregon. I spend my days verifying processes, checking compliance, and making sure what people claim to be doing actually matches what they're doing. I understand audit trails, verification procedures, and the importance of confirming claims against observable reality. I never thought I'd need to audit my wife's yoga schedule. I met Emma 11 years ago at a friend's wedding in the Columbia River Gorge. She was working as a project manager for a construction firm, organized and efficient in ways that matched my systematic approach. I was the quality guy. She was the project coordinator. We both appreciated structure and planning. We got married 9 years ago. Bought a house in the Selwood neighborhood, a 1920s bungalow with original hardwood floors and a renovated kitchen. Emma continued managing construction projects. I advanced to senior quality manager. Combined income around $195,000. We were stable, comfortable, living well in Portland. For 8 years, we had predictable routines. Emma worked standard hours, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. most days, with occasional evening client meetings. I worked 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We'd have dinner together most nights, spend weekends hiking or exploring Portland's food scene. Normal married life. Then 7 months ago, in early September, Emma announced she wanted to start taking yoga classes. "I need something for stress relief," she said one Sunday evening. "Work's been intense lately. All these deadlines and difficult clients. I think yoga would help." "That's a great idea. There's that studio near your office, right?" "Yeah, Lotus Flow Yoga on Division. They have evening classes that would work perfectly with my schedule. I'm thinking Tuesday and Thursday evenings. The 6 o'clock class. Sounds perfect. Go for it." She started the following week. Tuesday and Thursday evenings, she'd come home from work, change into yoga clothes, and drive to her class. She'd leave around 5:30, be home by 8 o'clock or 8:15. "How's yoga going?" I'd ask when she got home. "Great. Really helping with stress. The instructor is amazing." She seemed happier, more relaxed. I was glad she'd found something beneficial. Over the following months, yoga became a fixed part of Emma's routine. Every Tuesday and Thursday, like clockwork. She'd text me around 5:45, heading to yoga, home by 8. I'd make dinner or pick something up, have it ready when she got home around 8 o'clock. Sometimes she'd be later, 8:15 or 8:30. Stayed after to talk with some women from class, she'd explain. They invited me for smoothies. Perfect. She was making friends, building community. Everything you want from a regular activity. But I started noticing small inconsistencies around month 4. Emma never talked about specific poses or sequences. When I'd ask about class, her descriptions were vague. Just the usual flow. Some challenging balances today. Nothing concrete. She never mentioned her instructor by name. I'd ask who taught the class, and she'd say the Tuesday instructor or the regular teacher. Never a name. She never suggested I come try a class. Most people who love yoga encourage their partners to join them. Emma never mentioned it, and I never saw any yoga studio communications. No membership emails, no class schedule updates, no promotional offers. Nothing from Lotus Flow Yoga in her email or mail. These details nagged at me, but I didn't act on them. Didn't want to seem controlling or suspicious. Emma said she was at yoga. I trusted my wife. Then last Monday, something happened that changed everything. I had a dentist appointment Monday afternoon. Severe tooth pain that had developed over the weekend. My dentist squeezed me in at 4 p.m. The dental office was on Division Street, 3 blocks from Lotus Flow Yoga. After my appointment finished at 5:15, I drove past the yoga studio. Just happened to be on my route home. The studio had a big glass front window. I could see inside clearly. A class was in session, maybe 20 people doing downward dog. I slowed down as I passed, glanced at the people in class. Didn't see Emma, but she wouldn't be there on Monday anyway. She only did Tuesday and Thursday. But something made me pull over, park across the street, look at the studio more carefully. There was a sign on the door. I couldn't read it from my car, so I walked across the street. The sign listed the class schedule, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., morning flow, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., lunch flow, 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., evening flow, Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., weekend warrior, Sunday, closed. Evening flow was 6 to 7:30, 90 minutes, not 2.5 hours. Emma had been telling me she'd be at yoga until 8 o'clock or 8:15. But according to the schedule, class ended at 7:30. Maybe she stayed after talk with people, I thought. Maybe that's where the extra time went. But I remembered her texts. Still at yoga. Just finished. Those texts always came around 7:45 or 7:50. After class had ended. Was she lying about still being at yoga? Or did the schedule board have old information? I walked into the studio. A woman at the front desk looked up and smiled. Hi, can I help you? Yeah, I'm thinking about joining. What time does the Tuesday evening class end? Tuesday at 6 p.m. ends at 7:30. Same as all our evening classes. And is there anything after that? Open studio time or social hour? No, we close at 7:30 on weeknights. Instructor locks up around 7:45 after cleaning. So the building is empty by 7:45? Pretty much. Why do you ask? My wife takes the Tuesday class. She usually gets home around 8 o'clock or 8:15. I thought maybe she was staying for something after. The receptionist looked confused. Tuesday 6 p.m. class? What's her name? Emma Hayes. She typed on her computer. Frowned. Type more. I don't have an Emma Hayes in our system. Is she registered under a different name? I don't think so. Maybe she registered with her maiden name? Emma Morrison. More typing. More frowning. No Emma Morrison either. When did she join? September. About 7 months ago. Let me check her September enrollments. She scrolled through records. I'm not finding her. Are you sure she's a member here? My stomach dropped. She told me she takes the Tuesday and Thursday 6 p.m. classes. Has for 7 months. I'm sorry, but we don't have anyone by either name registered. And I've been working the front desk for 2 years. I'd remember a regular twice-a-week member. Could you be paying drop-in? Not a full member. We track drop-ins too for liability reasons. I can search all our attendance records. She typed extensively. No Emma Hayes or Emma Morrison in any class records going back a year. I stood there processing this information. Emma had been telling me she was at yoga class twice a week for 7 months. But the yoga studio had no record of her ever being there. Thank you for checking, I said. Of course. I'm sorry I couldn't find her. Maybe she goes to a different Lotus Flow location. This is the only one, right? Yes, just this location. I walked back to my car, sat behind the wheel, trying to understand what this meant. Emma had been telling me she was at yoga from 6 to 8 p.m. every Tuesday and Thursday for 7 months. But she wasn't a member of the studio, wasn't in their attendance records. And even if she had been taking class, it ended at 7:30, not 8 o'clock. Where was she actually going from 5:30 to 8 p.m. twice a week? I drove home. Emma was already there. Monday wasn't a yoga night. She was making dinner. Hey, how was the dentist? Okay, Need a filling next week. How was your day? Good. Productive. Hungry. We had dinner. Normal conversation. Emma didn't mention anything unusual, but I couldn't stop thinking about the yoga studio, the missing membership, the schedule discrepancy. Tuesday morning, I made a decision. I was going to verify Emma's yoga claim directly. I left work at 5:30 p.m., drove to Lotus Flow Yoga, parked across the street with a clear view of the entrance. At 5:45, I texted Emma, "Working late tonight. Don't wait on dinner." She replied, "Okay, heading to yoga soon anyway." Home by 8. I watched the studio entrance. People started arriving around 5:50. The 6 p.m. class filling up. I watched every person who entered. Watched until 6:05 when the instructor closed the door and class began. Emma never arrived. She wasn't among the 23 people I'd watched enter the studio. I sat in my car watching the class through the front window. Saw people doing poses, following the instructor. No Emma. At 6:30, the class was clearly winding down. Cooling stretches, savasana. At 6:32, people started rolling up their mats. By 6:40, people were leaving. I watched all 23 students exit. Watched them walk to their cars, drive away. At 6:45, the lights inside dimmed. At 6:48, the instructor came out, locked the front door, and walked her car. By 6:50, the parking lot was empty. The studio was dark and locked. I sat there until 7:30. No one came or went. The building stayed dark. At 7:45, I texted Emma, "How's yoga?" She replied at 7:47, "Good. Just finished. Grabbing smoothie with some women for class." Home by 8:30. I was sitting across the street from a dark, locked, empty yoga studio. Emma was texting me that she'd just finished class and was grabbing smoothies with classmates. She was lying. Completely, deliberately lying. I waited until 8 o'clock, then drove home. Got there before Emma. She arrived at 8:25, carrying her yoga mat and wearing workout clothes. Hair slightly damp like she'd been sweating. "Hey, how was class?" I asked. "Really good. We worked on hip openers. My hips are so tight from sitting at my desk all day." "Who'd you get smoothies with?" "Oh, just a couple women for class. Jessica and Amanda. We've been going after class for a few weeks now." More lies. Detailed lies with fake names and fake details. "Which smoothie place?" "That one near the studio." "The juice bar." "Pressed Juicery?" "Yeah, that one." I knew where Pressed Juicery was. It closed at 7 p.m. on weeknights. "What did you get?" "Green protein smoothie." The usual. I was testing her now, seeing how deep the lies went. "Sound good. I'm glad you're making friends at yoga." She smiled. Kissed me. Went to shower. I sat on the couch processing what I knew. Emma wasn't going to yoga. She wasn't a member of Lotus Flow. She wasn't in their attendance records. She didn't attend the class tonight that she claimed to just finish. She lied about getting smoothies at a place that was already closed. Where was she actually spending those 2.5 hours twice a week? Wednesday, I called a private investigator. His name was James Rivera. "I need surveillance on my wife. She claims to be at yoga class Tuesday and Thursday evenings from 6 to 8 p.m. I've verified she's not actually attending yoga. I need to know where she's really going. I can have someone on her tomorrow evening." Thursday afternoon, I coordinated with James. Emma would leave work around 5:30, supposedly heading to yoga. James called me at 6:15. "I'm following your wife. She drove from her office, but didn't go to the yoga studio. She went to a residential area in Eastmoreland. Just pulled into the driveway of a house on S.E. Bybee Boulevard." "Whose house?" "Running the address now." Pause. "Property is owned by Nathan Cross. Age 42. Works as an architect. Is my wife still there?" "Yes." She went inside, carrying her yoga mat and gym bag. "Looks like she's staying. Can you get photos?" "Already on it." Over the next 90 minutes, James sent me updates and photos. 6:20 p.m. Emma entering the house with her yoga mat. Nathan Cross greeting her at the door with a hug. 6:45 p.m. Through the front window, Emma and Nathan visible in what appeared to be a living room, sitting close on a couch. 7:15 p.m. Kitchen lights on. Appear to be cooking or eating together. 7:50 p.m. Emma leaving the house. Nathan walking her to her car, kissing her goodbye. The photos were clear, and undeniable. My wife's Tuesday and Thursday yoga classes were actually Tuesday and Thursday evenings at Nathan Cross's house. I sat at my desk looking at the photos. Emma entering his house with her yoga mat as a prop. Emma and Nathan on his couch. Emma and Nathan in his kitchen. Nathan kissing my wife goodbye. She'd been having an affair for at least 7 months. Twice a week. Using yoga as cover. Creating an elaborate lie with fake smoothie outings and fake classmate names. At 8:05, Emma texted me, "Just finished yoga. Heading home. Be there in 20. I replied, "See you soon." She arrived home at 8:30. Same routine. Yoga mat, workout clothes, damp hair. "How was class?" I asked. "Great. We did arm balances tonight. So challenging. Sounds intense." "Who taught?" "The regular Thursday instructor." "What's her name again?" Sarah. Sarah teaches Thursdays." More lies. I checked the Lotus Flow website. The Thursday evening instructor was named Michael. "And you got smoothies after?" "Yeah, with Jessica and Amanda again." I nodded. "That's nice. I'm glad you have that routine." She smiled, completely comfortable lying to my face. Friday morning, I called a divorce attorney. Her name was Margaret Foster. My wife has been claiming to attend yoga classes twice a week for 7 months. I verified she's not a member of the studio and doesn't attend classes. I hired a private investigator who documented her actually spending those evenings at another man's house. I have photos of her entering his home, spending 90 minutes inside, and kissing him goodbye. Margaret reviewed the evidence I sent. This is very clear. You have her schedule of deception, verification that her stated alibi was false, and photographic proof of the affair. How do you want to proceed? I want to confront her with the evidence, then file immediately. We can have papers ready by Monday. I spent the weekend acting normal. Emma mentioned her Tuesday yoga class like always. I confirmed I'd make dinner while she was gone. Tuesday evening came. Emma left for yoga at 5:30. "See you around 8, she said. "Have a good class." I waited 30 minutes. Then I drove to Nathan Cross's house in Eastmoreland. Parked across the street. Emma's car was in the driveway. I walked to the front door. Knocked. Nathan opened it. He looked surprised to see a stranger. "Can I help you?" "I'm looking for Emma." "Emma Hayes. Her car is in your driveway." His face changed. "I'm sorry, who are you?" "I'm Lucas Hayes, Emma's husband." From inside the house, I heard Emma's voice. "Nathan? Who is it?" "It's your husband," Nathan called back. Emma appeared behind him. She was wearing yoga clothes, but clearly hadn't been doing yoga. Her face went white when she saw me. "Lucas, what are you doing here?" "I could ask you the same thing. You're supposed to be at yoga class. At Lotus Flow. But I'm standing at Nathan's house where you actually spend your Tuesday and Thursday evenings." "I can explain. I want a Lotus Flow on Monday. They have no record of you being a member. No attendance records. No Emma Hayes or Emma Morrison in their system." I pulled out my phone. Showed the schedule photo. Class ends at 7:30, not 8 o'clock. The building locks at 6:50 after everyone leaves. In-press juicery closes at 7 o'clock, so you couldn't have gotten smoothies there at 8 o'clock like you claimed. Nathan was staring at Emma. "You married?" "I can explain everything." I showed Nathan my phone. Photos of Emma entering his house. Private investigator documented her Tuesday and Thursday visits. "She's been lying to both of us." "Emma told me she was divorced," Nathan said. "She said her marriage ended 2 years ago." I'm standing right here. Very much married. We lived together. Have for 9 years. There's been no divorce. Nathan looked at Emma. "You lied about being divorced?" "I was going to tell you. For 7 months, you've been coming here twice a week. Telling me you were divorced. Letting me believe we were building a relationship. And you're married the whole time." I turned to Emma. 7 months of telling me you were at yoga, making up instructor names and classmate names, texting me from his house, pretending you just finished class, creating an entire fake smoothie routine, all to cover the fact you were spending evenings with Nathan. "Lucas, please. I have everything documented. The yoga studio confirmation you were never a member. The investigator photos. The timeline of your lies. I'm filing for divorce. Where am I supposed to go? That's not my concern. You've been spending your evenings here. Figure it out." I left. Drove home. Emma came home 20 minutes later. Started trying to explain. I stopped her. I don't need explanations. I know everything. You've been having an affair with Nathan for 7 months. You told him you were divorced. You told me you were at yoga. You lied to both of us systematically. It wasn't supposed to happen this way. How was it supposed to happen? You constructed an elaborate lie. Yoga classes that you never attended. A membership you never had. Classmates and instructors who don't exist. All to cover spending time with Nathan twice a week. I pulled out divorce papers. You're being served tomorrow. The filing includes documentation of your fake yoga schedule, verification from Lotus Flow that you were never a member, and photos of you at Nathan's house on dates you claim to be at class. She tried to argue, to minimize, to explain, but I was done. I told her to pack a bag and leave. She could stay with friends or family. We'd coordinate through attorneys. She left that night. The divorce moved quickly. Emma tried to claim the affair was recent, and I jumped to conclusions about yoga. Margaret presented the timeline. Mrs. Hayes told Mr. Hayes she started yoga in September. Lotus Flow Yoga confirmed she was never a member. Our investigator documented her spending Tuesday and Thursday evenings at Nathan Cross's residence for 7 months. She systematically deceived her husband with detailed lies about instructors, classmates, and post-class activities. This was calculated, long-term deception. We settled in 9 weeks. I kept the house. Emma got 25% of savings. No spousal support. 9 years of marriage ended because Emma said she'd be at yoga until 8 p.m., but class ended at 6:30. About a year later, I met someone at a work conference. Her name was Sophie. Process engineer. Appreciated verification and truth. On our 4th date, she asked about my divorce. My ex-wife told me she was taking yoga classes twice a week. I noticed small inconsistencies. She never mentioned her instructor's name, never talked about specific poses, never suggested I join her. One day I walked past the studio and checked the schedule. Class ended at 7:30, but she always came home at 8 o'clock or later. Did you confront her? First I verified, went into the studio, asked about her membership. They had no record of her. She'd never been a member, never attended a single class. So I hired a private investigator to follow her the next time she supposedly went to yoga. Where was she really going? To her boyfriend's house. She'd drive to his place, spend 90 minutes there, then come home and tell me detailed stories about yoga class, complete with fake instructor names and fake classmates she got smoothies with. For how long? 7 months. Twice a week. 56 evenings, she told me she was at yoga while she was actually at Nathan's house having an affair. We've been together 10 months. Sophie goes to actual yoga, has a real membership, comes home when class actually ends. She said she'd be at yoga until 8 p.m. The class ended at 6:30. That 90-minute gap, every Tuesday and Thursday, for 7 months. That's where the affair happened, in the space between, when she said she was, and when class actually ended. 56 lies. 56 evenings at his house, all hidden behind a yoga mat and fake downward dogs.